Welcome, everybody. John Zager. Good morning. Kind of wanted to talk a little bit this morning, not for a long time, but just for a little while, about. I just finished a podcast, and the topic of that was has America gone too far? And this is kind of a continuation of that. It seems as I continue to explore uh, my research and talking to people, listening, reading, watching everything that I can get my hands on. Um, America seems a little bit different than it once was or used to be. I'm not going to make this a political thing, and it's not. I'm talking about people, personalities, and how are they doing things differently now than they were not that many years ago, and it's considered normal. Let me give you a couple examples. I'll just give two or three examples. That's all I'm going to give. Um, the internet. Okay, most people now use the internet for their newspaper, their news, as opposed to watching the 5:30 national news or reading daily newspapers, which I'm not sure if they even exist anymore. I know the magazines have definitely dropped off compared to what they used to be. But so the information now seems to be coming from the internet. People that are fairly prominent, I guess, important in terms of they have programs that they do. The language has changed. I'm a little taken back by that. I'm not naive and I'm not a prune, and it's kind of like the F word is now a standard word used daily with men and women, just in normal conversation. Number two, we have, I think there's three freshman congresswomen recently elected, and every day, pretty much every day, at least with this one in particular, um, she's trashing America. She's trashing America. She's trying to, as we listen to her, she has no knowledge about what she's talking to, and people are coming on every single day and correcting her at length in fairly mm, not very pretty interactions. And she just doesn't care. She goes on with making statements that are absurd and um, are working to destroy America. Now, obviously, she's being coached. She got into office probably from her group of people that were looking to um, have a different agenda than what congresswomen or congressmen normally do when they go in and they're newly elected, and they want to cause improvements to happen based on what their constituents are talking about. This isn't political. This has nothing to do with political. I'm talking about personality dynamics and neuroscience and psychology in general. In the past, that would have been censored. The other seniors in Congress would censor her. She would be removed. She would be told in no uncertain words that if her agenda is to destroy America, she needs to probably not be in Congress. And I don't know, I guess in the past they probably would have sent her back to whatever country she came from. I noticed the president yesterday, late, said exactly that. They might want to go back home to wherever they came from. At any rate, things are different there. There's a little girl on the soccer team that is taking advantage of her 15 minutes of fame, right? And she has been pretty radically crass and offensive with the President of the United States and the policies of America. Okay? So, I think it's wonderful that people can have a voice to make change. I think it's great. But she's over the top with it. She somehow believes she's bigger than what she really is. She's a soccer player who's been a waitress and a bartender for 11 years. And I believe she says she's gay. And speaking up for gay rights, I think that's great. Good for her. But the point I'm trying to make is that not that long ago in America, you were not encouraged, or people did not talk critically against the country you live in or the President of the United States or somebody in political office. Of course you can say negative things, but you can't be demonizing and offensive. It's out of character. It's very in poor taste. So this little gal clearly doesn't have any class or understanding or education, I guess, about manners or values or morals. She just, at any rate, we're talking about a personality here that is offensive, and there may be some defects of character. I don't know. People have suggested to deport her. I don't know where she belongs. But so stuff like that is happening. The other thing is, when I do research of my own, I put things on the internet to see what kind of reaction I would get, right? Because I'm trying to monitor the pulse of people and, the belief systems, neuroscience, and the perceptions that people have of the world and the people around them. So I was trying to get, what was I trying to do? I was trying to provide an avenue that we might be able to educate and train some of the poor and disadvantaged homeless, unemployed people in the United States. Seemed like an honest kind of statement. I got attacked. I just got viciously attacked, that almost to the point that those kinds of people don't exist. They have negative energy. They don't want to work. They don't want to learn. They don't, all these assumptions about these people that they don't even know. I don't want to know anything about it. I don't want to help anybody like that. I don't want to be a part of providing any information or training or whatever for these people. They just went on and on and on in a very harsh, negative, abusive manner. They just, how would I say that to be very clear? Almost like they were viewing these people as inhuman. Why would we care to help these people? It's not about me, when it's certainly not going to be about them. So that was an interesting sort of goings on. The other thing is that I've been noticing and reading that towns more and more don't want homeless people. Now, California seems to be an exception. I think it's a sanctuary state, certain cities maybe or whatever. But I've recently heard that they're getting uncomfortable with people living in the streets and on the main boulevards in tents and stuff. Maybe it's not exactly the way that they thought it was going to turn out. There's a faction of people, the Democrats. I mean, it's pretty obvious, they just would like everything to become socialistic, and the other side is not advocating that, and people can't seem to find a middle, and so you either have to be far left or far right. I don't want to talk about politics. I want to talk about personalities. But there appears to be some personality defects. People are a little bit too radical. People are more hostile than they used to be. I drive around town, and our town is doubled, tripled in size, and it's very aggressive. I'm in and out of stores, and people are very, very aggressive. I watch the news, and people are very, very aggressive. Intentionally aggressive. So what that says to me, anyway, is that their belief systems are very limited. They have limited belief systems that they acquired when they were young people, and they've become hardwired, and they've become even more ingrained in that attitude of hostility. It's really not very pretty. So what I wanted to do today is just present that. That's the observation. I do research, I observe things, and then I report that, and then I encourage you guys to participate in how we can change stuff like that. there's been a lot of stuff going on in the world, some in the US, but very little. Not very much at all over in Europe. A lot of it's coming out of Asia, to where people are now doing mass meditations in order to skew the violence and the crime. And they're having some kind of an impact. And Dr. Joe, I think, does that periodically and does a pretty good job. He tries to get as many people in the world, that are attached to him, and they do a global meditation, and for exactly that reason, peace in the world, and that they can maybe make a change. I'd like to talk about that some more, in more depth, about how we can alter and cause change in society, in our country, in the crime rate, in the attitudes of people, in the violence, the hostility, the personality defects. How we can do that. How we can start off doing it. I understand we can sit here and cite examples of where things are negative, and we can all contribute there and offer 2 or 3 examples. But what I'm wanting to do is hopefully get to a point to where more people become involved in this YouTube video, because I don't know, this one isn't live. My podcast is live, but go to johnzager.com, johnzegar.com. That's my website, right? And there's a page there where you can offer comments. Please put down some comments about what I'm talking about, and more specifically, if you would want to participate in how we can make an attempt to alter some of the negative behavior that seems to be going on in our country. That's different than what it used to be years ago. Not that many years ago. Okay? And I will try to figure out how to... I don't know if they'll let me do call-ins yet or not. Or live. They haven't been allowing me to do live yet either. But, so anyway, we're going to work out a program here and on my podcasts, which you can pick up on iHeartRadio. You can also pick it up on YouTube. It's just under John Zager Thoughts and Travels or something like that. But here's the other thing. I need to do marketing. They've raised the prices on me to be on YouTube and on my podcast radio show. Podcast has gone up nearly 400%. So I used to just say periodically to people, if you can send your penny, nickel, dimes, quarters, because I am self-supporting, to my PayPal account, jzager@gmail.com, jzegar@gmail.com. That would sure help. Now, because the cost has gone up nearly 400%, I'm almost going to have to start asking that more often. Here's the other thing. There used to be 1,000 you needed to have to do this stuff. Now they're getting up to where you have to have 10,000 people in some cases. So I'm asking you to, you hear everybody say it, hit the subscribe button and the follow button. Please, 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 please do that. Spread this information out to anybody who you think might want to listen to it or might enjoy it or participate in it, it would sure help a whole lot. This is what I do the last 8 years. You know, I also do consultation, education, training, and coaching. Call me up, get a hold of me. If you need any of that kind of service at all, I'm happy to do that. 49 years of clinical psychology, neuroscience ought to be worth something. So I'm going to get back on maybe later today if I can. I'm not quite sure. If not, again, early tomorrow morning so that we can get this moving along. I see a plan in my head. I just need to get enough participation from you guys to go ahead and proceed with it. So anyway, God bless everybody. Take care of one another, and I look forward to talking to you all again real soon. Thanks a lot. See you. Bye.